Do you need encouragement to turn tragedies into your own triumphant life story? If so, this podcast is for you. Listen to powerful guests who have persevered through challenges so you can gain strength to build your championship life. The host of Professor of Perseverance podcast, Dr. James Perdue.
Hey, come on in. It's getting that time of the year. You know, I live in Tennessee, and getting that time of the year is getting what we say, get a little nippy for a hippie. So come on in, get you a coffee, get you a cup of joe, get you some hot chocolate. I know it's maybe not exactly for that hot chocolate, but go ahead and start priming yourself for what's coming in the winter. So, all right, let's go and get started now. We're going to use our podcast to help give you some inspiration, help you get through some hard times, difficult time, your challenges time. And be sure to grab one good gold nugget, something you can use that's going to help you get through, and share it, pass it forward. Don't take it to your grave. You can't use it then. Pass it, share it, help the next person ahead of you. All right, today we got the ones coming in, and she's from Canada. You know, the I don't know, should I say it? Our 51st state, what Trump's wanting to do. All right. Not that I'm trying to be political, just trying to have some fun here. Okay. So, all right. But she has been through quite a bit here. She says she's been held up at gunpoint 3 times. He said that's rare in Canada. Okay. Her husband had a heart attack on a plane on the way to Cuba and had 0 cell reception, and no one spoke English to help her explain what's going on. Her business took a dive a little bit and diagnosed with 3C ovarian cancer. Wow. You know, isn't it amazing that some of us skate through life with very minimal, and then there's others, for whatever reason, get kicked in the teeth more than 3 times? Wow, it's amazing. So, but I'm glad she's here to share with us. And let's get her on stage here. And she is the author of the book. Let me put it up here. Author of Going Bonkers with Cancer, searching for answers, hope, and next steps. Are you drowning in medical jargon and fear? Welcome to the show, Allison. And I'm afraid I'm going to butcher your last name. I'll let you give it.
That's fantastic. Thank you. It's Allison Pazuk.
Pazuk. Okay, thank you for being here, Allison. Yep, we go through some troubling times. Isn't it amazing? Some of us go through a little bit more than others. And don't get me wrong, I understand sometimes we bring it on ourselves with some of our decisions, and then we do the best we can, but we get blindsided pretty often too. So
absolutely, 100%.
All right, Allison, thank you for being here. And let's, hey, you're the star of the show. You put us in where we need to start, and we'll follow you from there.
Perfect. I will start off that I used to ride competitively as a child. Then riding horses, that is. Then I was a teacher for 27 years, teaching hormonal teenagers. Then
I taught 7th grade science for about 12 or 13 years. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Mine was 27 years at high school teaching math. So, you know, they were already coming in predisposed to not liking math, but they were the kids that I loved, like teaching those children. As you mentioned, my husband's 20th anniversary gift of the heart attack on a plane on the way to Cuba. That was, I want to say, the worst 48 hours of my life.
Oh, I can imagine. So, yeah.
But
especially on the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Telling me you could have gave a better gift than that, right?
No kidding. It's memorable. I mean, you never forget it.
That is true about that. So,
and he is fine. We ended up getting a Learjet back here to Canada, and he had a triple bypass, and he's doing fine.
Good deal. But how long ago was that?
That was 15 years ago.
And 15 years doing all right. That's good.
Yeah, 100%. And then I decided to leave teaching. Let's join the entrepreneurial world. Real estate investing is the way to go. It's a safe thing. And it was absolutely fantastic as the economy was going up. And then overnight it turned. And yes, there were signs, but my ego was really big, like, this is easy. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Then the economy turned, and we ended up owing $2.7 million to hard money lenders.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a fun year to navigate. And then
now, was this before your husband?
No, after.
A heart
This
attack?
was actually in
After?
2022.
Okay, so past COVID, so it wasn't the COVID area
No.
where all everything shut down.
No.
Okay, all right.
And that is actually when we started. So when I left teaching was during COVID, and that's when we started with the real estate investing. And it just loved it. We were actually doing things. People were sitting at home and, feeling so lost. And we were inspired and motivated to turn these houses into, something spectacular. So yeah, that was 2022. And then, we start getting through that, learning how communication and transparency is super important when you're dealing with these lenders. And we actually managed to pay them back thanks to the fact that we had rental properties that we could sell.
Mm-hmm.
It took a long time. However, I learned a lot through that. And then the following year was, hey, the universe basically sent in the sledgehammer of, I keep trying to nudge you. I keep trying to get you to listen to me, but you just won't listen. So let's send in the sledgehammer. Ovarian cancer. I will make sure you pay attention. So now ovarian cancer, as I'm sure your listeners know, is known as the silent killer because it isn't so readily identified. You don't feel any pain. You don't feel anything until it's too late. So basically, before I dive into that too far, all of these things that I've mentioned helped me to step closer to being here on the podcast, to be able to share my message and help other people, and recognizing all of the things that, as you mentioned, I brought on myself that I must take responsibility for, and also to share the steps that I took to overcome it.
Oh yeah, and yep. And I tell other people, I'm sorry you went through what you've been through and everything. I mean, you've been through quite a bit, okay? And but I'm glad that I get to meet the 2.0 of Allison. The reconversion and the more stronger, more positive, and helping other people. So I'm glad I get to meet that person. So not that I wouldn't have cared about meeting you earlier. I'm sure you were just as positive, because to work with kids, you got to stay positive, to be able to work that long with them. If you got a negative behavior, it's not going to it's not going to be enjoyable. So
that's actually a really interesting point that I did just want to touch on. And I know I haven't mentioned the gunpoint thing. I honestly forgot about it, but yes, I became really good at camouflage, putting on masks. No, I was not positive. I was crusty. I had a fixed mindset. I was very skeptical, always looking and judging people. Now, did that come from when I was originally competing as a rider and I was being judged all the time when you're in that ring? I don't know. But no, I was not a very nice person to myself through all of that.
Yeah, we're tougher on ourselves than we want to blame other people, but no, we're the one that has the final command on what we're going to do and act and be. So yeah, we're tougher on ourselves, and we're thinking we're better in ourselves if we're tougher.
Yes,
we can prove ourselves and still be good to ourselves. So, but that's the way we're brought up. I tell people, when we got to break out of the negativity, as we get old enough to understand what's going on. I mean, we started off negative, crying, because our diapers need changing. What happens when we get it changed? And now we're happy as can be. And then we go, wait a minute. if I cry, I can get something to eat. Well, now I'm hanging. And so we're conditioned from birth to give something negative to get something positive. And then as we get older, we go, we can do things a little different. And now we got to
Yeah.
break that mindset. So,
Yeah. But it
and
is,
yeah, but you are correct that before we go through anything or whatever, growing up and everything, we put on a lot of masks to hide our true self from other people.
Mhm.
So, and
Yeah.
that's sad, that we want to hide ourselves because we're thinking they're not going to like the real me. But I don't like the real me. That's why I'm hiding it.
Correct.
So all right, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that you mentioned that when you're small and you cry and you get attention, but the point is at that point you don't know about rules.
Oh,
You
no.
are being your true self. I'm uncomfortable. Somebody help me, and
Yep.
you're speaking out. We're currently working on a property that's right next to an elementary school, and it is so interesting to watch these little kids. The bell rings. They run outside and play. The teachers have whistles that they
Mm-hmm.
have to respond to. The bell whistles, goes off again, and they drop everything and run in. And it's the interaction as they're on their recess that just watching them. And it's right from that early age, it's you must follow the rules. If you don't, you're going to get in trouble. You have to, and it's that early indoctrination into societal rules that is wild to watch when you're on the other side of a few events. And
Mm-hmm.
how is that affecting? How does that affect you when you do come up with an obstacle in real life type of thing? So
That conditioning.
Yeah.
And how is someone elementary, how are they going to react if they're out in public and they don't hear a whistle,
Yes.
to know to stop, to come on in,
Yes.
because then it's mom and dad. I mean, I grew up, I'm 61 years old, and we grew up, we were allowed to play till dark time out in public. We didn't have to worry about all this, what's going on today. And
Yes.
our thing was when the lights came on, the street lights come on, it's time to go home.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Exactly.
that's how it was with us. So we were conditioned with the street light, not the yelling and the whistling and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is, I think that is part of why I was as successful at the different things that I was, because you figure it out. Like if you're out, as you mentioned, I'm not quite 60, but I am 56. And so we're out and we're playing and something happens. Well, you got to figure it out. You don't have someone that you can run and tell and get help. So I started taking on the mantra of everything is figure outable.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happens, we can figure it out. And then, for instance, the being held up. I was in university and I was working part-time at a drugstore, so at a pharmacy. And I was working in the postal section. So I was, sort of in a separate section, but still within the pharmacy. And then one evening we hear footsteps running down the hall and these two men come in balaclavas. I went in the back and hid and did what I thought was the smart thing. Let's pick up the phone and call 911. The bad guys, if I want to call it, they go to the pharmacist and they're asking for drugs. So that's what they were trying to do. Meanwhile, I'm on with 911 and they very loudly say, 911, what is your emergency? What is your location? I'm like, shh, be quiet. I ended up hanging up because they just wouldn't stop. Anyway, these burglars ended up, they wanted to open the cash register. The pharmacist doesn't know how to use the cash register. So they're trying, she can't open it. They're getting more frustrated. So me being me, I'm always there to help people. I come out of hiding and walk out and face these guys as they're both pointing handguns at me to try and open this. And I look back and go, what the heck was I thinking?
That's right.
And then victim services comes in. Wow, that'll never happen again. It's like getting hit by lightning. The following Wednesday, guess what happened? Same time. These guys came back. Same thing. They wanted more drugs.
Same guys?
I assume so. I mean,
Same. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Assumed.
And then victim services. Oh my Lord, this will never happen. It's like winning the lottery and getting hit by lightning on the same night. And then the following Wednesday, it happened again. And I just went, forget it. I quit. But what it was people, these people that were in prison, they were getting out on day passes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And going to and hitting up a bunch of pharmacies.
Where I'm assuming they're supposed to be on like a work release. And of course, their job was go rob the store.
Yeah.
So we've had in here in America incidents similar to that, I'm sure, that they're supposed to be out on work release and their work is whatever it is other than work.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, I would have just started calling in on a sick on Wednesdays. You said it was 3 Wednesdays in a row. I'd have been going, can't make it today, but I know I'll be in tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, exactly. That's amazing. And I would imagine if like you said, work up with whatever they were out for a day pass, and they were going back, so they didn't know to hunt for those people because they're already locked up. So they're searching everybody else that's out and about. And so that's why they could have gone back every time because no one's hunting for them. They're already locked up. So, wow. I mean, it's pretty smart on them on that part. I mean, it's stupid overall, but to think of it, they're not going to hunt for us because we're already locked up.
Yeah.
So
very true.
Wow.
Okay. But I mean, that effect on me, I mean, I didn't, I grew up in that era of just pull up your big girl panties. Big girls don't cry. So I did not get any help. And I was always on high alert, always watching, wouldn't sit with my back to a door, always scanning for exits. And that stress, and also the stress of teaching, as you know, it's not exactly all fun and games type of thing. There is a fair amount of stress in the downloading and the emotions of the kids and that. So that stress as well managed to bottle things up. And also then the stress, as I mentioned, with the financial and my husband's heart attack, like all of that stress ended up building up. And again, I put on a mask. I'm fine. No, absolutely. I'm fine. I can do this. Yep. Nope. And I would start burying myself in other things to be able to hide who I was. Would never look at myself in the mirror, like never look into my eyes. It's really weird when you do. Like look into your eyes and actually your soul you can see yourself. And I would never do that. But
I think it's important here that most men are brought up to be the survivor, the protector and everything. But honestly, women, because they're mama bear protecting their children and going to protect their family. So I can see you hiding weakness. You don't want people to think that you're because you're scared and nervous and whatever. You want to hide that so they don't wonder what's happening to mama.
That's right.
Because you're the protector, mama bear, and you're having to protect everything around you. And my mom was a single parent bringing up 3 children. Our dad died when we were 16, and she took care of bringing up 3 boys. And so, I saw her plenty of time hiding the reality from us so we wouldn't worry growing up. I can see all that. Yes.
Yeah. And also with teaching, those were my kids. Every one of them, I wanted what was best for them and very, very much protector. When we used to have all of the emergency drills, with the older kids, some of them knew what I had gone through. They had managed to get it out of me. in terms of being held up. And I just said, you know what? If someone comes into the school, I'm under my desk. You guys are on your own. Like, sorry. I just teasing them.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much was teaching and how much was reality at that point. But it's funny how it all ends up forming who you are. Right?
Oh, yeah. Everything our experiences, forms us. But we have to dictate and make the captain of the boat on how we allow it to manifest.
That's right.
Everything you went through with the gun thing, you could have been a nervous wreck the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But that's not going to help with your children or with the family life and everything. So you had to hide it to be better, which overall made you stronger.
Yes.
Overall. So
yes. And that's exactly right. I learned how to cope. I learned how to find a solution. And like I say, everything is figure outable. So that was all part of it. And that all came into play when I was diagnosed with cancer. And even the diagnosis, I have to tell you, it was not like a Hollywood type of thing. I wasn't in a doctor's office. I didn't receive a phone call to say, by the way, you have cancer. What happened was, because here in Canada, we pay for our medical system in time. So once you kind of know something is off, you start down the process, and it just takes a really long time. It was about 6 months from when I knew something was off. And I go through all of the details in my book that you had mentioned. And all of the details in the Going Bonkers with Cancer. And my doctor said to me, these tests are taking too long. My suggestion is go into emergency, plan on being there all night, and ask them. And, like she was giving me suggestions as to what to have for symptoms to be able to get all the tests. So I did. And as I was waiting for the results and the doctor to come in, he comes in super busy as doctors are, and he had his clipboard. He barely looked up, and he goes, your heart palpitations, the shallow breathing, those feelings that you were describing, it's anxiety due to your cancer. And I went, wait, what? I mean, he kept going on talking about treatments, and I'm going, cancer?
Yeah.
Excuse me? And these terms, I have no idea what he's talking about. The doctors deal with it all the time. These great big words, like, I don't know what an omentum is. I don't know what, all of any of them.
I think they say them big words just to make them feel good, because they could easily put it in terms for us to understand it instead of us going, what? And now we're looking and sounding stupid, Yeah, we don't understand it what you're saying, but put it where I can, and we'll be both on the same page then. Exactly. I'm just a believer that they they want to feel good about themselves, so they'll use the big words.
Yeah, I don't know if it was that, or if it's just they're so used to the words because it's their everyday lingo that they forget that we don't know. But it was his look on his face when he realized I had no idea. Immediately I'm like, oh my gosh, the poor guy, I should make him feel better. Like, anyway, he just sat down with me, and he was very good. And he walked me through the reason why the diagnosis. They didn't stage me right away. I didn't find that out until much later. And I don't know if they don't stage you because they're afraid of you slipping into, oh my gosh, my life is over, and that victim mindset.
I got a death sentence now. So,
and so at that point, I mean, community is so much of a big part in the people in your corner. I mentioned it to my CrossFit coach, and he and I went out for coffee, and he just was talking, and he just happened to mention Dr. Seafried and Jason Fung when they're talking about cancer and cancer being a metabolic disease. And that started me down a spiral of wormholes of research. And being a math teacher, I just have that brain of, I need to know how it works.
Yeah.
I need to know what it is. Like, what is cancer? I had no idea what cancer is. And I still will not capitalize it. It's a lowercase. I always said, I don't identify as a cancer patient. I was diagnosed with cancer because it's a symptom to show me that there's something wrong in my body.
Yeah.
And I mean, even that, your body wants to be in a healthy state. Your body is so amazing at being able to heal itself. And if
yes.
you're constantly beating it up, constantly having it being attacked with stress, being in school, I mean, it's like a petri dish in there with germs. So your immune system is constantly under attack. And so it's out of its state of ease, which is dis-ease. So it's a disease that ends up coming out. So I don't even know where I was going with this, but just recognizing through the research that medical doctors consider long-term survivor 5 years. To me, that's really short-term. I want like long-term survivors. So that was taking me down paths of, what did those long-term survivors do? You know, and whether or not your listeners have cancer, it's, if you're facing a challenge, where is the person and the people who are on the other side of your challenge? What did they do to get there? They're the people you want to research and find out what their steps were, and then choose what's right for you.
Oh, yes. Yep. I don't know. I'm like you. I don't know a lot about the cancer. All I know, when we hear, we think it's an automatic death sentence, even though there's many different forms. And my doctor one time told me that most of the time, if they catch it, well, I say most of the time, he told me 80% of the time is curable if they get it in time. Okay, he said 80%. So I was diagnosed with colon cancer. It ended up being the test was false positive. I didn't have it. So that was the blessing on that. My mom had lung cancer 25 years ago, and now she's 85 years old because she made it through. Now, the 5-year longevity that you're mentioning, I've never heard that. But what we've always heard was, especially with mom, that you're in remission then for 5 years. Then if you're still clean from all the tests in 5 years, then they're cured. Is what we've heard, for me to understand. And I felt so sorry. One girl went to school, I say sorry, I felt bad. One girl I went to school with, and they did a story on her. She had some type of cancer. I forgot what type. And they come back like 18 months later, and she was bragging she was cancer free. And I'm going, nah, at 18 months, you're supposed to be in remission. I don't want to give false hope. People think. And sure enough, 6 months later, she passed away because the cancer came back. And I was going, I hate that for her. Well, hate it for her, but I hate it for the misrepresentation. She was going cancer free in 18. You may not have cancer. That doesn't mean in that 5-year period, it may come back. And it hit hard on her. And I hate that for her, but I hate it for the communication when it came out. Like
That's
that.
right.
So.
Yeah. And that communication is such a big part. And the 5 years is, I started asking all the questions to the oncologist and the oncology team. And I do talk about that in my book, like how to have the courage to talk to the oncologists and the medical teams, because you're facing an authority figure and it's not easy. So, it was, but the amount of times they would say, okay, this is your next step. Yeah, but why? Yeah, but
exactly.
How will that help? And what ended up coming out is they consider it 5 years because, as you mentioned, if you've made it past that 5-year point, and I don't like using the word cured, the more research that I've done on cancer and the reasons why you get it, because I do believe that if you don't change your patterns, you will face it again or something else. But the reason is because doctors and hospitals are funded through pharmaceutical companies.
Oh, yes.
And I'm not going down a conspiracy route or anything like that.
Yeah.
100% respect for the medical team. Like they helped me 100%. But for them to do trials, for them to keep track of people, they have to have, there's only a certain amount that they can keep track of. And once you get past 3-4 years, you don't need medication anymore. So they have no reason to track you. So that's why they're like 5 years, we consider you long-term. So it's long-term from their perspective.
I got a friend right now. I like to say friend. He was my baseball coach when I was 13 to 15 years old, and he's going through pancreatic cancer now. And he's been doing treatments, now it's a year and 3 months and still doing treatments.
Wow.
So they say that pancreatic, it's a tough one because by the time they find it. And so I try to go visit him once a week, just try to keep him uplifted. But he's going through that right now. But what I was going to say is, my mom, she was a 2-pack smoker.
Oh,
2-pack smoker. And she actually went through congestive heart failure, was in the hospital, and she quit cold turkey. Doctor told her, and it was like 2 years later when they found the lung cancer. But the good thing, she was already done smoking for that 2 years, let her lungs start healing before all that took place, because I think it made it better, easier for her afterwards. So, but that's it. Like I said, what I was getting to is, we got to make changes once we know what's going on. And I, like you mentioned earlier, not that whoever's listening has to be going through cancer. It's whatever you're going through, whether it's cancer. Again, I'm a spinal cord injury, got my neck broke playing football. We must be the profession and doctor in that areas. Okay, for us to be able to help the real doctors, the real nurses, everybody else, and that's on your system, on your team. Okay, and the more you know, the more you can help them.
That's right.
And so, my last podcast, and the woman, she had breast cancer, and had a double mastectomy, and she's doing great now. So, so yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I was just going to say something when you were talking. Yes, you were saying that we need to make the changes and essentially help the doctors. I mean, even with your mom, she made changes. She quit smoking. So her body started healing itself. And it was, I don't want to say easier, because it's not easier when you're getting through cancer, but her lifestyle change helped her body get through that. And
if she wouldn't have quit smoking, she wouldn't be here today. So,
yes.
So, but that she was 62 with the congestive heart failure. Now she's 85. But again, if she wouldn't have quit 2 years before, continue smoking, she wouldn't. But with the lung cancer came on top of it, I don't believe she would have been here. So, it's funny now, isn't it funny when a funny story when everything was right is not funny at the time, but her doctor, what had happened is she hadn't been in to see him from that congestive heart failure, hadn't been into the hospital and seen him in 2 years. And so he sent a letter to her, hey, it's time for physical. We ain't seen you in a couple of years. Come on and get your physical. She throws the trash can. I feel good. I don't throw the trash can. About 6 weeks, 2 months later, hey, this is second notice. Come on in. We ain't seen you in a while. Throws it away again. 2 months later, third and last attempt. If you don't come in, we'll have to discontinue as a patient, because if you can't follow doctor's order, I can't be responsible. So if you don't set up an appointment to come in, and she mad, mom's mad, said, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. I don't know, making me go in. That's when they found the lung cancer.
That's good.
If she would have thrown it away the third time, she wouldn't have been here.
Yes.
So, but I'm glad the doctor was persistent to
Mhm.
get her in.
Yes.
And the threat to stop having her as a patient is
Yeah.
what made her, and that's when they found everything.
That's
We
right.
had that same doctor for 45 years, Dr. Case. Appreciates. He retired a few years ago. So now we're breaking in a new doctor.
Got to train them, right?
That's right. Train them our way. That's right. So,
Yes.
all right.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to definitely make those changes. And again,
Yes.
I'm a very advocate on. It's a shame, and I've had two other people on podcasts a couple of years ago that we need to know our bodies better than our doctor does. You know, how many
Yes.
people go in, and my older brother is this. He goes in and they tell him what's wrong, and he goes, "Oh, okay."
Mhm. Mhm.
When, yeah, we need to know what's going on and more about our body than our doctor does.
Yes.
And again, that makes things easier as well. So,
Yeah. Well, it just the way I like to describe it, and again, I go into detail in this in my book, um, that when I mean, I'm sure that some of your listeners have their own businesses. If not, you understand what a CEO is. It's a chief executive officer. They're responsible for everything within the business. So yeah, thanks for flashing up my book. Honestly, people have said to me, just a quick side note, people have said to me that if you have read any of Mel Robbins' books or Jenna Kutcher's books, that mine is very similar in terms of it's like having a conversation with a friend who gets it and who has been there. So the one thing I do talk about is you have to be the CEO of your body. If you think about someone, say a salesperson goes and knocks on the door of a CEO's office and is so excited because they have the widget that will solve every business's problems. That CEO is not going to instantly implement that widget or that idea throughout their business. Heck no. They're going to call committees of different departments. They're going to get opinions of different people. They'll look at all of the research. They'll do, all of that. And if it is positive for their business growth and for their profits, then they will implement it. We, as you just said, for your brother, we don't do that. We have someone that says, here's your problem, here's a solution. And we go, oh, okay. Like, no, do the research, look at different options, find those survivors, listen to the medical doctors. And I always say, deal with the sacred and. Choose a little bit from this and a little bit from that,
yeah,
and you do what's right for you.
exactly. Yes. Not everything's going to work in one big lump basket for everybody. So you
No,
got to do what you think's best. Exactly.
that's
So
right.
yeah, my brother, I love him and everything, but he'll see his doctor and I'll say, "What'd you say about your numbers on whatever? What do you say?" "I don't know. I don't know." I said,
Yeah.
and I finally out to him said, "They're reading it off a piece of paper. They print it. Tell them you want that piece of paper.
Yes.
Bring it here. Then the
Yes.
next time we get that piece of paper, we can compare to see what's." So yeah, but yeah, I'm like you. I'm going to ask questions. I want to know what's going on.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
And
and there
even
maybe the teacher in us, I guess, to be
yes,
that he
that could
wasn't a school teacher. So
yeah.
maybe it's that is why. So let me ask here, and I'm looking over here with your book again. We'll pop it up here. And it says going bonkers with cancer. All right, you got an acronym here for bonkers.
Yes.
You got it.
Yes.
You know it well enough,
Oh, I
or
do.
do I have to read it over here for you?
No, no, no,
No,
no.
I
I
figured
know
you
what
would
it
have
is.
it. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, bonkers quite often when I say that, people immediately think of a circus, but that
Mm-hmm.
really and truly is how I felt. The
Yeah.
medical jargon. I don't know what's going on. You have to make decisions. So each letter stands for, it's an acronym. So the first one is
Mm-hmm.
brave. So as we mentioned, you have to have deep courage to be able to face those in authority. Open, stay curious, explore, look for different options to blaze your path. Non-conforming, you don't have to play by anyone's rules. Those elementary kids that are, running in when that bell goes, you don't have to do that. You're an adult, you're your own CEO. K stands for kick-ass. So recognize who you are. You're fierce, you're tenacious. Don't let other people's limiting beliefs affect you. I always mention unlimiting beliefs. E is emotional. Make sure you honor all your feelings. It's not a fun journey. If some days you're going to be angry, some days you're going to be miserable, some days you're going to be sad, other days you're going to be like on cloud 9 and feel great. Acknowledge them. All of them are valid feelings. R is for resilient. So believe in your strength. And then the last letter is S, which is self-advocacy. That one is the non-negotiable that ties everything together. So you must be, as I mentioned, your own CEO, self-advocate. You have to ask the questions and have those tough conversations with your doctors. And I was helping one lady. She had a family member that said, okay, you're going through this, but have you planned out the implications of how it's going to affect our family business and what happens if you die? And I just said to her, you do not need to go and hang around them right now. That is not in your best interest. Your husband can deal with them, so just making sure that you stand up for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And also, I would think that you need to be open and honest with yourself as well.
Yes.
You're not just your doctors, everybody else's profession, but definitely within yourself too,
Yes.
for that reality as well. So
Yes.
that's pretty good. I like the acronym and how you got it. You did all right with that. You did
Thank
eight. So, all right.
you.
Hey, this has been a blessing getting to speak with you. And boy, I'm just so glad again. I got to meet the better of you.
Yes.
The one to get through everything. And how long ago was this with the cancer?
It seems like a long time ago, but it really wasn't. It was 2023. So it's, coming up on 2 years since my last chemo.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And the surgery, it was funny. The surgery actually happened to be on the first day of school. So nothing like, driving that in. But yes. So it was about 2 years ago. There's so many things that I do want to just quickly mention about
go ahead.
my book. It's not just my story. It's all of the research that I did, the different steps that long-term survivors take, all of the terms that you will come across as you're going through and navigating that journey. I know that a lot of people, finances come into it. It's a tough journey. The biggest thing, honestly, that helped me was fasting. So I used to do a 72-hour fast around a chemo cycle, which meant I did not have side effects. Okay, I shouldn't say that. I had minimal side effects. I had sore joints, but I did not throw up. I did not feel nauseous. Within a couple of days, I was back on my feet and everything was fine until the next cycle. And the mindset, that strength, my daughter, she's now 26 and she's in the Navy, but I said to her afterwards, how, because she was away from home, how did this affect you? Were you worried? And she said, no. She said, you told me that you would be fine. You told me that you've planned your 110th birthday and that I didn't need to worry. So I didn't worry. So I just thought that was interesting as well.
That's very interesting that you have instilled in her the trust, okay, and the power within yourself that she just says, okay, that's pretty good. I like that. Yeah. So, all right. I didn't know if you had other things you're going on with your book.
Just like I say, it's the story. I said 3 parts. So I've got the story, I have the research. So I've got fasting, some supplements that I took, high dose vitamin C. Diet is a big one. I eliminated, as your mom went cold turkey, I went cold turkey on diet. So it was, looking back, I'm like, what the heck did I really eat? But it was no sugar, no flour, eggs once a week, no red meat. So like really what's kind of left? And no dairy. So it was vegetables, plants, whole grain, and highly recommend that for anyone. Is the highly processed foods, the highly processed foods is going to drive you to the highly chemical drugs that the doctor, so you need to look after yourself.
It's a shame that the more we're learning about the high processed food, stuff like that, it's amazing how our FDA and stuff passes that, knowing what it can cause. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
and when you do start pulling that veil back and recognizing that it's the big pharmaceutical companies, the high processed food companies are supplementing and sponsoring and paying for those government, departments, that's how they get through. So it's just recognizing it. And
I'm just here in the last, 10 years, I guess, really getting more into learning that stuff. And I've been wondering, do these people prevent their own family from eating it?
Oh, that's a good point.
Because they're going, we know what can cause, but we need this almighty dollar, so do they prevent their own children, family from eating it? Or do they say, hey, you're going to need to take your chances?
I don't know. There's so many, that's a whole other thing. But one I did just quickly learn about is that Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz, so highly processed food company. So it's a great vertical for their business, isn't it? You keep encouraging people to eat high processed foods, and then you have your other vertical, Weight Watchers, to help them lose weight. And that has filed Chapter 11 because Ozempic has come out. So now Big Pharma it's just like, it's wild when you start looking at the way these big corporations work.
Yeah. We're into one of them things. It's I've grown up, I remember hearing the saying was, I can't win for losing. It's just everything. We do the best we can, but we just can't get ahead and win, it seems like, from all the stuff's played against us.
That's right.
So, all right, Allison, appreciate it. So let me put your book up here again. And anybody get you a copy, Going Bonkers with Cancer. Okay. And it's searching for answers, hope, and next step. And she also, are you drowning in medical jargon and fear? So get you a copy of that. And hey, we're getting close to Christmas around here. Get you 2 copies and give out a gift to someone. So
that sounds like a great idea.
All right. All right, Allison, thank you for being here, and I appreciate. I tell people selfishly, I get to get inspired first, and then unless someone comes in, we've had several people came in, they left you a couple of hearts and thumbs up, and so a couple people's been. But selfishly, I get to get fired up and motivated with your story and other people's story, and we're going to pass it on so other people can get some inspiration. So we appreciate you being here, and tell your daughter thank you for her service. Like I said, I'm in a wheelchair from where I got my neck broke playing football, and every time I hear a service person, I thank them, the people before them, and the people in the future, because they're providing service for the world. Is why people like me with disabilities can get out here and have a good life. So
thank you.
Be sure to tell her I said thank you.
I will.
All right, everybody else, say thank you. And Allison, go ahead and tell people your social media, how they can get a hold of you.
Sure. Well, my name here is on the screen. That is what I use with an unusual last name like mine. It's super easy to be able to use it for all my social media. So it's Allison Pazuk on all of the social media channels. And I've also got my website, which is AllisonPazuk.com. You can buy the book on Amazon. And also, I'd encourage people to go to my website. I do have the podcast, so this podcast will be on there, as well as you can get the Bonkers framework. So if you forget what all the letters mean, I'll have the framework that's on there for you to download, and also blogs that I've got.
There you go. Awesome. And that's Allison Pazuk. It's Pazuk. All right. Thank you. And I'll definitely put those in the show notes. But for ones listening, Allison, Pazuk. Yes. All right, Allison, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. And I'm glad that everything is turned around. Stay away from the pharmacy. Don't work on Wednesdays. Don't even go get your prescription on Wednesdays.
Okay.
Just avoid them on Wednesdays altogether. So, and from there, but I appreciate everything again. I'm glad we got to find the more positive you,
Yes.
and again, helping other people.
Thank you.
You used to helping people, whether you were in a bad mood, negative mood, whatever, when you're a teacher, because you want to help them. So you already had that instilled in you. So,
yeah, I do.
All right,
That's
everybody
all
else, thank you for coming in. And be sure to share this out with someone that you know can use something. I'm Dr. James Purdue, the professor of perseverance. Do something today, tomorrow, something next week that's going to help you persevere past your paralysis.